all these GIs coming in, and schools doubled in size or tripled in size that year, I think.
And we both graduated in June a year later. And then Cliff went on to work towards his master's degree.
And
I went on to get my MA.
You gestated.
And that's when we had you, Craig.
Yeah, and that was a traumatic experience for both of us. I hadn't been told that sometimes kids are being born, their heads get a little deformed, and when she brought you out to show you what a fine boy, your head was pushed back up, you had no brow, it was pushed back up to a point.
Nothing's changed.
And he must have turned white because the neighbor came over and he said, "Did he look a little strange?" And, she sighed a big sigh of relief then, that all babies look a little strange when they're born if you've gone through any kind of pains, I guess.
Prolonged labor, yeah.
Prolonged labor.
But,
and then he went down to Lafayette.
We have a master's that next spring then.
In Indiana.
I got a master's at South Dakota State in chemistry still, and then we have a fellowship to Purdue University, and so we took you and the trailer behind the car and took off for Lafayette, and
we bought another trailer though, a house trailer.
Well, down there, we took a little two-wheel trailer to haul our very few belongings on.
What did we do with that thing?
I sold it down there. And then we couldn't find any housing there either, so we bought a house trailer just out of Lafayette. I was there 2 years looking for my PhD, which I never got. Finished academic work, but I was on a fellowship was being supported by American Maize cornstarch company over in North Hammond at the time. And I got acquainted with them, and they offered me a job after 2 years there. By that time, Neil had been born, and with a trailer and 2 kids, and the GI Bill running out, which I'd been living on along with fellowship money. Well, my job looked pretty good, so I started working at American Maize as a research chemist in 1950.
And then I guess our life was pretty quiet until we discovered that our second child had epilepsy and had a learning disability. And so I think I spent the next several years doing an awful lot of learning about what it meant to have a learning disability, and joined the organization for learning disabilities and spent a lot of time working for them, trying to help find out what caused it, what to do about it, trying to help others as well. And I was on the Chicago board, then the state board, and then the national board. Because of that, I wrote the book where I interviewed parents called Special Children, Special Families. And then later on, I wrote a book called A Day to Cry, which was an interview with Mary Grigger, who was a learning disabled adult. And she was a very fun person. She said she noticed that wherever I went, I took notes. So she thought I'd as well take notes about her life. And we've had a lot of fun about that.
And I stayed with American Maize in 32 years, I guess. First as research chemist and project leader, and then I became a assistant director of research finally, then for a few years, and eventually then that they phased out there, they cut back on the research program, so I moved out in production. So I was in charge of the starch production area, and then the total production facility at American Maize, which was retired there in 1982.
We did have 2 more children. We should mention them.
I think we should.
Ann and Scott, I think, always felt like maybe we neglected them a lot because we had so much concern with Neil, but we love him anyway.
Yeah. Well, we had Boy Scouts and Little Leagues and things like that, which took up some time and a lot of fun. And
we never ever had an anniversary on our actual anniversary date because we were either doing something with Boy Scouts or learning disabilities.
The anniversary date of June 6th, of course, was the same as D-Day across the channel, which there was nothing Freudian in that choice of that date.
I don't understand that. I don't catch on what you're trying to say.
About the invasion?
You've both traveled widely. You've went and helped third world countries in India and Korea.
Yeah, we started doing some traveling while I was still working. As the kids got up and kind of got out of the house and got on your own. Then after I retired, Mom got me to sign up for the International Executive Service Corps, and there where they take retired people and go as a volunteer, expenses paid volunteer to some third world country to consult with them. And so I first took a stint in Korea in 1985, I think it was, and for 3 months, which was Louise and I went over there. It was a great experience. And then we took another session in India for 3 months in Western India and the desert country out in the west in Ahmedabad, India. And I'd done some other, also, you again along on those trips at least, so you got to see all that.
You were teaching English in Korea,
I
helping
taught
out there.
English as a second language to the students. In India, I got in with the Bible group and got invited to a lot of the homes that way because they were Christians.
I also took a couple of short-term trips, one consulting, one to Argentina and to Malaysia. This was just for a week or 2 weeks at crack at those, and those for a different agency. So, but I'm getting past, but now I'm getting past the age. I've been out too long and haven't kept up with the science.
You don't want to go back to a third world country?
I don't want to go back to a third world country.
I would.
So it's back to the grasshoppers and the drought, isn't
Yeah, it's the same idea. But I'm too far. It's getting to be, it's kind of a struggle, and then I'm getting to where I don't want to do that much travel, that kind of traveling. We do it a lot. We just come back from, we've been to almost all the European countries, into Kenya and cruises and so things like that.
Some benefit came from all this. When we were in England, we got to stay at the Victory Services Club, which was only for people who had been in service in World War II, because they respected America so much for helping them. I thought that was a little hidden benefit that Cliff probably didn't plan on.
No, and but our time now is taking up, well, hobbies, of course. We do play a little bridge, quite a little bridge, and I read a lot. And Louise is involved in her 2 or 3 organizations and doing a lot of writing, and of course our grandchildren. Got the chance to tutor Brett here this last summer and May again, and
Get to stay with Scott's kids, and
yeah,
we love that too.
with Eric and Christina and Alex, and got to go out to South Dakota and see them get acquainted with the farm this summer.
Alex was born on my birthday, so that makes him kind of special. His name is Alex Clifford.
6 grandchildren total, right? Leanne, Clint, Brett, Alex, Christina, and Eric.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, great. I think we are nearing our time.
I think so. So that winds us up. We're up to the present.
I think you both lived in interesting times.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview.
And that makes it, what was it?
It's a Chinese curse.
Oh, that's a
May you
curse?
live in interesting times.
Oh, that was a curse. Well.
Okay.